Welcome to the Cherry Bekaert Industrial and Consumer Goods podcast series. We aim to explore this dynamic world, discuss the operating challenges facing manufacturers, and offer new ideas and solutions. Join us as we uncover growth strategies and enhance after-tax cash flow in the ever-evolving industrial and consumer goods landscape.
Good day, everyone, and welcome back to our Industrial Manufacturing and Consumer Goods podcast series. I'm Corey York, a finance strategy and operations consultant at Cherry Bekaert, noted carbohydrate connoisseur and working capital enthusiast, and I'll be your host today. Joining me is my colleague, Mike Piotrowski, a finance transformation leader who has spent the last 2 decades helping CFOs and private equity owners unlock their working capital and modernize their finance function. Mike's work spans from startups all the way up to Fortune 50 companies, where he's consistently helped clients unlock trapped cash, shorten cash cycles, and build stronger working capital management across finance and operations. You may have listened to our previous installments regarding working capital in general and in the context of inventory. Today, we'll continue working our way around the balance sheet by diving deep into one of the most impactful areas for freeing up cash, accounts receivable optimization. AR is more than just collecting payments. It's a direct reflection on your company's health. When it's managed well, it can dramatically improve cash flow, it can reduce bad debt, and strengthen relationships with your customers. But when it's not, it can be a major drain on resources and a source of constant frustration. We're going to break down why it matters, how to spot the red flags, and what you can do about it. So, Mike, thanks for joining me again. For those who might not see AR as a strategic tool yet, why is it such a critical part of a company's working capital?
Well, thanks for having me, Corey. In our last episode, we talked about inventory as the lifeblood of a company. If that's true, then accounts receivable is the heartbeat. It's the rhythm of cash coming into the business. While inventory is often the largest current asset for many companies, accounts receivable is a close second. It's the money that's rightfully owed to you for goods or services already delivered. Think about it this way. Your company's already spent the time, the money, and the resources to produce and sell a product or to deliver a service. If you don't collect that cash in a timely manner, you're essentially financing your customers' operations instead of your own. This ties up your working capital and limits your ability to invest in growth, pay your bills, and or manage day-to-day operations. Therefore, when you optimize AR, you're not just chasing payments, you're accelerating your cash conversion cycle and putting that money to work for your business much faster.
So how can a given company tell if it has an AR optimization opportunity? What key indicators do you look for?
That's a good question, Corey, because the red flags often show up in both the numbers and day-to-day operations. On the financial side, the most obvious indicator is high days sales outstanding, or DSO. This metric tells us on average how many days it takes for a company to collect payments after a sale. Therefore, if a company's DSO is consistently higher than its industry peers or its internal targets, you have a problem. Beyond the numbers, you're going to see operational warning signs like a growing pile of invoices that are more than 60 or 90 days past due, an increasing amount of bad debt write-offs, constant back and forth communication with customers about billing errors or discrepancies, your collection team spending more time on administrative tasks than on actually collecting money, and finally, a lack of clear and consistent collection policies. When different people are doing things different ways, it ultimately leads to confusion, delays, and lost cash.
Mike, in contrast to the quick balance sheet analysis that we had discussed in our inventory podcast, this all sounds like a much more massive undertaking. Where do you begin? What are the main levers that the company can pull in order to improve any of these areas of AR performance?
Well, you're absolutely right, Corey. It can feel overwhelming, but there are 4 levers that can drive a lot of impact. Each one is a critical piece of the puzzle, and the real magic happens when they're all working together. First, strengthening your credit and collections policy. This is the foundation. It's about having a clear, documented set of rules for who you extend credit to, how much, and what your process is when payments are late. For example, this might be running a credit check on all new customers or establishing a clear protocol that an account manager must be notified when an invoice becomes 15 days past due. Secondly, improving your invoicing process. This is all about getting it right from the very beginning. Many payment delays aren't due to unwilling customers, but to clerical errors or missing information on the invoice itself. We focus on making sure invoices are accurate, easy to understand, and sent out promptly. A good example is a company we worked with that was frequently missing the required purchase order number on their invoices. Just by adding a mandatory field to their invoicing software, they reduced invoice kickbacks by over 50%. Thirdly, implementing smarter collections strategies is a great lever. This is about working smarter, not harder. And instead of a blanket approach, we segment customers and tailor our efforts. We use a proactive cadence, automated reminders for on-time accounts, and more personalized, high-touch follow-ups for those who are at a high risk for late payment. For instance, you could have a system that automatically sends a friendly reminder email 5 days before an invoice is due, but triggers a personal call from an AR specialist for high-value clients who are 10 days or more past due. And lastly, optimizing the use of technology. This is the key enabler. Manual processes are slow and error-prone. We help clients leverage technology to automate tasks like invoice generation, payment reminders, and cash application, which frees up the team to focus on the high-value collection activities. For example, a system that can automatically match incoming payments to open invoices without human intervention can save dozens of hours a week for a large company.
That certainly does sound comprehensive. Seems like a methodical approach can make a difference there. But what about the elephant in the room? The fear of damaging your relationships with the customers, who I am reliably told are always right.
Corey, that's a very real and legitimate concern, and it's one we hear about all the time, and it's why AR optimization isn't just a finance exercise. It's a customer relationship issue. The key here is to shift the mindset from a confrontational, us versus them approach to a collaborative, let's solve this together approach. For a company's most valuable customers, for example, I wouldn't use the same automated one-size-fits-all approach that would be used for everyone else. Instead, I'd take a soft strategic approach. I'd have a conversation. This is where I'd bring in a senior finance leader or even a sales manager who has a strong relationship with the customer. The conversation should be empathetic. You can say something like, we value our partnership with you, and to ensure that we can continue providing you with the highest level of service and the best products, we're implementing a new process for managing our accounts. We want to work with you to find a solution that fits both of our needs. This can lead to a more flexible but still firm payment plan, or even an early payment discount for those who pay on time. The goal here is to set clear expectations and reinforce that this isn't a punishment. It's a way to build a healthier, more sustainable partnership for the long run. A clear policy applied fairly removes ambiguity and actually strengthens trust over time.
It's a powerful point. And I say that as someone who hates paying bills on time, or really at all. But seriously, let's get specific. Can you walk us through a simple scenario? Just show us the true impact of this. If we take a company with, say, $600 million in annual sales, current day sales outstanding of 60 days, how much cash is locked up there? What happens if they improve it?
Corey, that's a perfect question to highlight just how powerful this is. For a company with 600 million in annual sales and a 60-day DSO, they have about 98.6 million of cash tied up in accounts receivable. Let's think of that as a huge bank account that's full, but we can't make any withdrawals. Now let's look at the opportunity, and we're not talking about magic here. These are real, achievable benchmarks based on cross-industry data. Let's look at what happens when a company hits the median DSO number, which across all industries is roughly 45 days. Doing the math, if that company could improve their collections from 60 days to just 45, they would unlock approximately $24.6 million in cash. That's a massive non-dilutive influx of capital. Then let's look at what becoming a top performer means. A top quartile company often has a DSO of 30 days or less. If our example company could reach that level, they would free up almost $49 million in cash. That's a huge strategic advantage.
The numbers are frankly staggering. You mentioned the benchmarks, median and top quartile. Where do those actually come from?
That's a key question, Corey. These aren't arbitrary numbers. They're derived from the aggregate financial performance data of thousands of companies, compiled by organizations like the American Productivity and Quality Center, or APQC, and various credit and finance associations. They give us a clear, objective measure to compare a company's performance against its peers. It's how we know if a 60-day DSO is a major red flag, or if it's just a function of a particular industry's payment terms. The benefits of unlocking this kind of cash are immense, and they go far beyond making the balance sheet look better. For example, when you have more cash on hand, you don't need to borrow from your bank to cover short-term operational expenses. This means you save on interest costs and keep your line of credit available for true emergencies or growth opportunities. It's all about being in control of your own liquidity. This unlocked cash can be reinvested directly back into the business. You can use it to fund a new product launch, to upgrade technology, to invest in marketing, or to even pay down debt. This allows a business to be proactive and agile rather than just surviving day to day. Lastly, it's also important to know that a lower DSO isn't just about cash. It's a sign of a healthier operation. It means that your invoicing is accurate, your collection process is effective, and your customer relationships are solid enough to ensure timely payment. It's a key indicator of overall business health.
So not just a numbers game, but truly a strategic move that can fundamentally strengthen the entire business.
Exactly, Corey. It's about turning a passive balance sheet item into an active lever for growth.
Powerful stuff. Well, that wraps up today's episode on accounts receivable optimization, a critical driver of cash flow and overall business health. Mike, thank you very much for sharing your expertise with us today.
My pleasure, Corey.
We hope the listeners came away with some valuable insights that you can apply right away. If you prefer a more guided tour, make sure to contact us at Cherry Beckert. We look forward to having you with us for our next episode in the Working Capital Optimization series, where we'll focus on accounts payable. Until then, thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to our podcast today. For more information, visit our website at cbh.com/manufacturing, where you can give feedback and connect with our professionals. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe, leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts, and share with your colleagues.